Welcome back to Tech Tuesdays. Kevin Hunter with Harry Brelsford here, and we have part 2 of a show we're covering here on Forrester. Harry, go ahead and do the proper introductions, and then let's get into it.
Yeah, so thank you, Kevin, and always a pleasure. So we're picking up part 2. Part 1, folks, that you can watch up online, covered the first half of a study by analyst Jay McBain at Forrester called "What I See Coming for the Channel in 2020." So this time I want to highlight a couple of points. He had roughly 10 points. Yes, he did 10 points in his study. We're going to point number 8. That's probably best signified by a graphic. The point is the channel account managers turned into community managers. And what Jay's getting at is that, here's the deal, Kevin. In the old days, back at Microsoft, if you had a title community manager, that was kind of a fluffy title. That wasn't taken very seriously by the mathematicians and the developers. It was considered an easy job. Now, fast forward the movie, and it turns out, communities are where it's at today, and not just in technology, but Kevin, we all want to belong, right? There's ads on TV, in the radio, for Facebook. Whatever your thing in the world is, one breed of dog, there is a big group on Facebook, right?
Yes.
There is a community for that.
There is.
Community-based marketing, community-based marketing has kind of gone from being a punchline to the center stage because, again, it's tribal. Communities are a smaller group of like-minded people, and you can access these people. So you need to think not just transactional as a channel a channel account manager, but a community manager. Now, what I want to highlight here in McBain's report is he's kind of gone around the horn, if you will, of what makes up the technology community and small and medium business. Kevin, these infographics you can do for anyone, anywhere, in any industry. But I wanted to do a shout out to our role. If you look down between myself and you, right there in the lower center is SMB Nation, that global image. And so
you made the list, Harry. That's awesome.
We did. We're proudly part of the community, and he put us in the thought leadership and peer group category. That makes sense. We're not a vendor. If you look above your head, you'll see Oracle and Symantec and Dell and so on. That's not what we do, but we do build community and engage with our membership and community surrounding technology matters and SMB. So I just wanted people to get a visualization of that, what that looks like. And then let's move on to point number 9. Point number 9 is super connectors pave the way to channel recruitment. And what McBain is talking about here is he's done a really good job of kind of measuring or sizing up the global technology channel community. And Kevin, here's some statistics, very interesting. 54 magazines, 64 podcasts, 24 associations, participate in the vendor and distributor communities, and follow thought leaders to over 150 trade shows a year. Kevin, that's almost one every 2 days, practically speaking, when you think of business days and all that. It's a big deal. So he's talking about, well, who are these top 100 super connectors that you could identify that are, in the trade groups, writing for the magazines, the podcast, and going to the events. And Kevin, I want to frame it up differently. The first article I ever wrote and launched me in my technology writing career on my Apple II Plus computer using a relational database called PFS from Harvard Software was for Colorado Business Magazine. And Kevin, what I did is I took the top 100 publicly traded companies in the state of Colorado, and I manually typed in their board of directors' names.
Right.
Okay. Took a little while, took some time. Then I did a relational sort, and I could see people who sat on 1 board, 2 boards, 3 boards, etc. And that is a political science methodology called interlocking analysis. We're looking for interlocks, and that's how you can measure power. So, for example, if you had the last name Coors in Colorado, I found out you were sitting on 3 publicly traded corporate boards, right? And it was a way to measure influence, what Jay McBain is calling a superconnector. So he's essentially stair-stepping us into the same idea of, if you took all these names from podcasts, magazines, events, and you put it in a relational database and you did a very simple sort, you could come up with the top 100 superconnectors based on that methodology, if that makes sense, my friend.
Yeah, it does. I think about all of that, and the observations that I think all of us have made, if we've been paying attention in recent years, that there has been more of a narrowing of the thought process just in the general public. And I think about all these the superconnectors, and I'm there's a part of me that is asking the question: is that a good thing? Is it good if there becomes over time a reduced number of influencers in these various aspects that are going on? And all of us, no matter who we aren't immune to this. We all carry with us our prejudices, our biases, our things, our preferences, etc. And we bring all of that to the table. And I'm not seeing more of a open-minded approach to life. I'm seeing more of a closed-minded approach to life. And I'm looking at this and going, so how does this end up playing out in the world of technology and all these other things if fewer people and the so-called superconnectors, who are the superconnectors? If that's the case, is it a good thing? I guess we'll find out as time goes on if that plays out to being good or bad.
Yeah, well, and I'll put a wrapper on that conversation because you raise a really valid point. And I'm going to forget the author, but there's a famous political science book called The Power Elite, right? And some of these tools are used to identify the power elite. And the problem, Kevin, that I hear you alluding to, and I also concur, is concentration of power, right? So the concentration of power to the power elite can be very dangerous for those of us who are just little tech entrepreneurs without a lot of resources, just trying to make our mark. And it quite frankly, it can result in barriers to entry, right? For the little guy. That's the hazard, right? With the power elite.
Well, you even think about you even think about, so if we're looking at this in the tech aspect, it's one thing. If we even look at in our media, which a lot of people understand that media has become more of a corporate conglomerate, there is actually 6 corporations that control 95 or 96% of all the broadcasting done in the United States. And that lack of diversity in the media doesn't seem to be serving us that well.
You know what I'll do? We'll end on this, because what I'm going to do is, here's my script. I'll make some side notes. But next time we meet, I do want to talk about the concentration of power in my world of technology, what that looks like. Is that resulting in either higher prices, lower quality, or fewer choices? So let's pick it up there. I'm going to make a couple notes.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Harry, and thanks to everyone who joined us here on the broadcast, Tech Tuesdays with Kevin Hunter and Harry Brelsford. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Till next time, take care.